Natalie is back with a preview of our forecast. We could really use some rain.
We could really use some rain. Unfortunately, too, the latest U.S. drought monitor came out yesterday. It's worsened in our area again. So now we're back under severe drought for most regions. Some places even that extreme drought category to our east over Bastrop, Williamson, even Lee County. So we could use more of that wet weather. We do have chances in the 7-day forecast. We'll take a look at that a little later on.
And a look now at 183 near Olin Road shows traffic picking up in this particular spot. We'll take a closer look at your traffic maps and some slow and go to watch out for coming up next.
Also, an iconic store in South Austin is no more. Coming up next, what the former Runtech site will now be.
We're going to talk about why DPS is going to add more patrols this weekend when it comes to the 4th of July.
Also, a transportation bill, abortion legislation, and now protests, all planned for the state capitol. We'll have a breakdown of the issues just ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to KXAN News Today. We are so happy to have you around. I'm Sally Hernandez.
I'm Brian Sanders. Just about 5:30 on this Friday morning, June 28th. Amanda is watching your roadways this morning, and Natalie is in for Mark watching your forecast.
That is your first morning traffic at 5:30.
Okay, so starting today, the Texas Department of Public Safety is reminding everyone out there it is stepping up DWI patrols.
4th of July weekend is here, which usually means more alcohol-related crashes. DPS is trying to curb that trend. Our Sophia Beausoleil is live near Riverside and I-35 this morning. Hi, Sophia.
Good morning, Brian. Well, this intersection is known for having many crashes. Reporting live in East Austin, Sophia Beausoleil, KXAN News.
All right, thank you, Sophia. A Texas state senator has refiled a major transportation funding bill. Republican Senator Robert Nichols put in the bill for the special session that starts on Monday there at the state capitol as we take a live look. The constitutional amendment would divert nearly $1 billion a year to build and repair highways. The plan uses oil and gas severance taxes that are currently sent to the state's cash reserve fund. Transportation officials say Texas needs to spend an extra $4 billion a year to keep up with its expanding population. Supporters of Wendy Davis are planning a big rally today against any abortion regulations bill. The Facebook invite that we saw already showed some 5,900 people planning to attend. On the other side, Houston State Senator Dan Patrick, who supports the abortion restrictions, said his side had the votes to pass the legislation. All legislation on the session agenda will have to be worked from the beginning.
Some have tried to make this a partisan issue, but this isn't a partisan issue. This is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue.
The governor said the abortion bill blocked this week will pass in the next special session. It would ban abortions after 20 weeks and effectively close most abortion clinics in Texas.
Time check right now is 5:34, and a grand jury here in Travis County has indicted the president of the Christmas Bureau of Austin-Travis County for stealing more than $30,000 from the charity. This is an investigation we've been following for you for quite some time, months now. Sean Washington is charged with felony theft from the charity that he ran starting in 2010. He is already in jail on drug charges, and his bond is set at $75,000. A second indictment charges him with making a false statement to obtain credit. So you could read a little bit more about the details of that charge and find a link to our investigation showing where Washington spent the money online right now at KXAN.com.
A federal grand jury returned a 30-count indictment against the surviving suspect in the Boston Marathon bombings. Among other things, 19-year-old Johar Tsarnaev was charged with use of a weapon of mass destruction resulting in death and bombing of a place of public use resulting in death. The indictment also alleges Tsarnaev left a written confession inside the boat that he was hiding in when he was captured. The U.S. Attorney's Office says that 17 of the charges could result in life in prison or the death penalty. 3 people were killed and hundreds injured in the April 15th explosion.
A sad update to tell you about this morning on this week's drowning at McKinney Falls State Park. The 10-year-old little girl who was rescued at the park died yesterday at the hospital. Valerie Dominguez Juarez was swimming with her father and her 3-year-old little brother at the lower falls in the park on Tuesday when they all went under. EMS crews pulled them out of the water, but the kids had already spent 10 minutes underwater. Their father, 44-year-old Herbie Juarez, died before he got to the hospital. No update right now on the condition of the 3-year-old.
Austin police say they have released Lee Andre Bouquet from jail. Originally arrested in a homicide on Wednesday, authorities now believe he acted in self-defense. Officers arrived at a home in North Austin early Wednesday morning and found Zachary Martell dead inside. Authorities say Martell went to the home with a firearm. No formal charges against Bouquet will be filed at this time.
An update to share with you this morning about an Austin firefighter who was hit by a pickup truck last week. Late yesterday afternoon, Colin Camp was moved from Brackenridge to a rehab facility. He does remain in a coma, but his other injuries are healing successfully. The 33-year-old firefighter was riding a bike on Manchac Road when he was hit.
Following up on a story we told you about last week, a temporary display site is set for the Juneteenth statues that have been at the state building out of public view. The 1999 monument planned at the state capitol never happened, and now the Texas Legislative Black Caucus announced they've arranged for the memorial to go to the George Washington Carver Museum and Cultural Center. That's near East 12th and Comal Streets. The statues will be on loan to the museum for the next 99 years.
After going into debt and having its property seized in April, the long-standing Runtex store on Riverside, it's being torn down. That location is on Riverside Drive and South First Street across from Auditorium Shores. A mixed-use development project is planned for that location, and when completed, the building should have 240 luxury apartments and accommodate retail stores on its first floor. Runtex went out of business after asset seizures on April 4th for nearly $80,000 worth of debt. The owner, Paul Carrozza, said that slowed business led to the debt and the eventual closing of Runtex stores all over Austin.